This week on Dateline Schools, we have the privilege of meeting the distinguished teachers for the month of February. They're the music teachers from KPAC elementary and junior senior high schools. And we had the privilege of talking with Caleb Sinclair as well as Jeffrey Jones. And Jeff, let's start with you. What are you currently teaching and how long have you been teaching?
I'm teaching band, instrumental music, grades 5 through 12 at KPAC, and I teach first grade and fourth grade as well. I've been teaching since 1990, and had a little break in there, left for private business, and wasn't as fulfilling as I thought.
Now, have you always been out at KPAC schools the whole time?
I have not. I taught different areas around the southeastern Michigan area, but found my way to KPAC, and I got to tell you, I think it's grateful to be home.
Caleb, how about you?
This is my third year teaching. I have taught at KPAC for all of those 3 years. I teach 7th through 12th grade vocal music. I also teach elementary general music, and I've taught many different levels of that. Everyone but first grade. This year I have kindergarten and second grade general.
Okay. I find it kind of fascinating that you're teaching basically the full K-12 spectrum with a couple, like you mentioned, Caleb, with a little bit. How difficult is that? How much of a challenge is that to be able to teach all those different grade levels, especially knowing the different talent levels of all your students?
It's challenging. We're one of the few subject areas that we're certified K-12. But, it is, because sometimes we'll go right from a high school class into a kindergarten class. And, you got to remember, you're not talking to an adolescent anymore. You're talking to a 5-year-old. And then sometimes you go back to the high school and sometimes they act like the kindergartners. But it's a challenge, but it's rewarding. It's refreshing, because it changes up.
Yeah, it's certainly challenging. I like to think of it as a little bit of musical whiplash sometimes. Just as Jeff was describing, you'll sometimes be working on something so complex with some of the older students, and then finding ways to dial it back or to even kind of dig in just on a more primary level with some of the younger students is very challenging, but it also creates a pretty concrete love of music that can last with those students, and that's something that's been encouraging to see.
We'll be back with more tomorrow. For Dateline Schools, I'm Terry Harrington.